And more college craziness. Minority conservative students demonized by their liberal peers. Former Claremont McKenna College student Hannah O spoke against students needing safe spaces. And because of that, the school newspaper reports she was labeled a, quote, shady person of color by her liberal classmates. Hannah wrote an editorial piece in the Claremont Independent, the school's newspaper, and that led to her ridicule on campus. And she was not the only one. Hannah O goes on the record. Nice to see you, Hannah.
Hi, Greta. Thanks for having me.
Okay, first of all, why don't you like safe spaces?
Well, I mean, it's very antithetical to diversity of thought on campus. There's no reason why we should be protected from certain views or opinions. We should just have, our academic and intellectual freedoms all out there and just discuss like we're supposed to do on a college campus.
Okay, when you wrote that, you became a shady person of color?
Yes, for short, they labeled me a SPOC. It's an acronym for Shady Person of Color.
And who did that?
The group that led the protests last fall were called the CMCers of Color, and they had a whole list of demands that they issued last fall, and one of the demands was a resource center, which would essentially function as a permanent safe space on campus. And they submitted a formal proposal to the administration, but they also had a private Google document that had other items that they wanted, like a sound system and kitchenware, and they also had this board of SPOCs that they wanted to post on a wall in their safe space.
Okay, what was the reaction of the administration to this shady person of color label and what the demands were?
Well, in the fall, our dean resigned because one of the more informal demands was that she resigned because she was racist, and basically the whole administration was racist, and so some people had to step down, and so they did that, and they granted a temporary safe space on campus and are working on creating a permanent safe space, but nothing, there's been no reaction to this SPOC list specifically.
All right. What are these safe spaces? Like when I went to college, we fought for the First Amendment to say whatever you want. And as a lawyer, I defended people on the First Amendment. So tell me, what goes on in safe spaces?
Well, they frame it, the protesters who want the safe spaces frame it as a way where they can talk about sort of their identities or culture in a place that's safe, where, they won't be condemned or made fun of, which I guess doesn't sound too bad in theory, but essentially the way they actually function and practice is it's limited to students of color. White students have been told explicitly that they cannot enter the space, so it's basically segregation at this point, and it's a way for them to talk about things like white privilege, the patriarchy, and all things on the left that really demonize people on the right, or just, average students who are just trying to get by in college.
Well, Claremont McKenna College issued a statement, and they say that the school supports diversity, inclusion, and the free expression of ideas, the core values of responsible leadership pursuant to the mission of our college. And President Obama also spoke out. He's against safe spaces, and he did this while speaking at Howard University's graduation. Let's listen.
There's been a trend around the country of trying to get colleges to disinvite speakers with a different point of view or disrupt a politician's rally. Don't do that. No matter how ridiculous or offensive you might find the things that come out of their mouths. Because as my grandmother used to tell me, every time a fool speaks, they are just advertising their own ignorance.
Hannah, quickly, your thoughts about what the president said.
I mean, I 100% agree. It's just unfortunate that there's a lack of leadership at the college level to really back these ideas and to oppose these protesters when they want these things. Even though pretty much every college across the nation says that it values diversity of thought, it's just not true in practice, You've seen all these
I'm sorry, Hannah, I got to go. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry to cut you off.
You're welcome. Thank you.